Hi guys, in this video I'd like to talk some more about distortion pedals, my setup, and give you some pointers when you're playing a solo, how to be heard, how to not rely on a sound engineer. Okay, so when we play a note on our guitar, we get a sound wave. When the sound wave gets small and small and small and eventually dies out. And that's when we have silence. How the distortion pedal works is it takes the sound wave and it clips the top and the bottom. And then it takes that middle section and it stretches it out. Depending on how much distortion level you have set up on your pedal, if you turn up the volume, the distortion knob on your pedal, it gets narrower. So it becomes less and less sensitive to the actual level of your playing. It compresses more and it gets more distorted. And if we turn it up all the way to the max, this section that was clean before would still be blown up to this level. And in simplified terms, to illustrate how most distortion pedals work is that you get a square sort of a wave because the top and the bottom are clipped, and then as the note dies out, see, it becomes cleaner until it turns to complete silence. If you've seen my other videos, I prefer to use the volume knob on my guitar and always leave the distortion pedal on. I never turn it off unless I want I don't want to play any distorted sounds in a particular song. But most of the time I turn it on and I leave it on because it gives me compression. What a guitar compression means is that the notes sort of sustain longer. You can think of compression as sort of distortion in the way it operates, except the sound is not distorted. The sound is, it preserves the clean sound when needed and the distorted sound when needed, and simply put the notes sustain longer. So on my guitar, this is the volume pedal. What I do is I turn it down to here and my guitar cleans up, especially if I have only one pickup on, this one. Completely clean, right? But then as I turn up the knob, it becomes distorted. Clean. So what you can do instead of turning down your volume knob is simply pick lighter. One application of this is, for example, you don't have time to go between clean and distorted. You don't have time to press your pedal on and off or reach for the volume knob. You're busy playing. You can simply do this. I'm trying very hard to play light. But then I strum normally. So what happens when you play, when you pick lighter, or when you turn down your volume knob, your wave is smaller, so it doesn't hit that ceiling and the floor. And as a result, there's no clipping and it sounds completely clean. In the second part of this video, I want to talk about playing solos. If you have two guitarists and when two of those guitarists are playing together, they are more or less the same volume, right? Now, when you're playing a solo in a band that has another guitarist, you need to be heard, otherwise the rhythm player is going to drain you out completely. you're barely going to be heard. Most sound engineers are not evil people. They don't purposefully want to ruin your gig. And when you're playing a show in a bar, chances are the sound engineer does not know when your solo is coming up. So they're not going to have time to go to the mixer and turn you up. So what you need to do is you need to come prepared and have your rhythm sound and your lead sound. If you have a amplifier that has a lead and rhythm switching, that's great. This amplifier, for example, has a button for boost, and it sounds sounds harsher and more high-pitched. Let me show you. That's rhythm. Very subtle, not really, it's not going to give you a huge sort of a boost. Now, what you can do, if you have a pedal like a delay pedal, for example, you can use that as your boost pedal, because when you're playing a solo, most lead guitar sounds have some kind of a delay, so you can just set the level of your delay pedal, the whole overall level, to be loud. That way you kill two birds with one stone. You get that nice delay sound, and your sound is also louder. For me, on my pedal board, I have this pedal called Zoom. It's a nice little stomp box, and it has a combination of delay and EQ. What I have is I basically turn down all the lows and mids and emphasize the high mids and the highs, and as a result, when you EQ your guitar like that, it's more piercing, it's more noticeable in a good way. You're not going to play all of your whole show like that, but for the solo you just get that sound to cut through. Let me show you. That was very loud. Also, what you can do when you want to play a solo, instead of boosting your amplifier, you can do the opposite. Because sometimes this amplifier that I'm using, the PV Classic 30 amplifier, is very, very clean by itself. But you can have something like a Marshall, where when you saturate your guitar further, it's not going to make any difference really. It's just going to muddy up your sound. It's not going to get any louder. But what you can do instead, and this is a really cool idea, is you can have any sort of a pedal like this. This is my distortion pedal, or a chorus pedal. You can use any sort of a pedal, and you can use it in an opposite way as you would normally think. I turn down all the levels, the tone, the distortion, and the output is nearly at 0. And when you're playing rhythm, you can turn it on like this. And when you're playing a solo, you turn it off. Rhythm, solo. Pretty cool, right?